in the middle of darkest night, and I'm thinking I'm out of sight, but I must come to realize Allah's watching me. My every breath, my every sigh, my every tear, my every cry, every moment of my life, Allah's watching me. My every breath is watching me, my every step is watching me, my every move is watching me, Allah's watching me. My Creator is watching me, my Sustainer is watching me, my Lord is watching me, Allah's watching me. Every time I miss Allah, fail to pay my dues zakah, miss my fasting Ramadan, Allah's watching me.
Assalamu alaikum. Apologies, you may have already covered it. You know when you said if somebody's already they're quite far away from the deen, but you're not going to go do's and don'ts, can you meet them on their boundaries? If they're backbiting, can you be a bit flexible if your intention is that you're trying to get them closer to the deen? Is there any?
You see, if people, your brother is asking if your person is far away from deen, but they are doing something, backbiting or things, can you be flexible with them? Yes, you can be flexible with them. Meaning enjoining good and forbidding evil, there are levels and different ways to do it. For example, if someone is committing riba, so instead of saying it is sinful, don't do, you will go in hell or anything like this, you can change the topic. For example, you can change the topic, you can talk about something else. Secondly, you can also, for example, leave that majlis or gathering, or you may say that person as well, but not giving them a very negative view, but just leaving the majlis. So changing the topic will be the becoming flexible with them. So and when again they come, you listen to them, but then you talk about something similar, but which will not be. For example, that person might be naming a person. That person did this, that person did this, committing riba, and you might say, yes, brother, really, I have been in this situation as well myself, and and some people, they do this and then take the conversation somewhere else. So that kind of flexibility, but it will not be allowed to join in the backbiting. You can't do that way. Because the primary purpose is to save yourself. Whilst saving yourself, you can save others. It is a great thing. But if you have to lose yourself, your relationship with Allah, then you choose yourself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and leave the other people to themselves.
Yeah, please also wait till the mic comes to you so the people on the internet can benefit as well from your question.
I just want to ask, there's 3 short questions I've got, but 2 are like linked.
Only related to this topic today?
Yes, related.
Yes, please.
Do you know, like, for example, what's happening to a lot of the Muslims around the world, how we have a biased media, love is hard to take, and I want to know how Muslims, we are supposed to react to it. Also, do you know, you did mention in the, just after Fajr, about being skeptical or being suspicious or speculating or judging other people, and I want to know how it is that we can avoid being speculating, suspicious, skeptical or judgmental about other people. And do you know there are certain translations of the Quran, do you know, when it comes to talking about the disbelievers and the hypocrites, the Prophet ﷺ is commanded to be harsh with them. Now, am I right in saying that this translation, it should be more towards a nearer meaning of being firm with these people? Because if you look up the word admonish, it doesn't mean being harsh with them. It means being firm with the people, telling people off firmly but not harshly. So I'm right in saying that some people may have not translated it correctly.
Right, regarding what's happening to Muslims in the world, what we should do, we should exactly do the same thing what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did when humanity was being wronged. There was a lot of zulm and a lot of oppression in the world. What did Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam do? Did he establish a government firstly and then actually said, I am going to help these people? No, he alayhi salatu wasalam, what he did was, he firstly, obviously himself was a prophet, he didn't need to work upon himself. He was the perfect person. But the first thing which he gave to the Sahaba was actually these things, the greatness of Allah, the fikr and the concern of Akhirah, and all these things were built in them as a base, and then their character building. Although they wanted to fight, but Prophet ﷺ said, you cannot, there's no command of Allah to fight in the Meccan period. You just have to bear, you just have to do sabr, and that was the tarbiyah of the Sahaba. So gradually, if a person follows this pattern, then there might come an opportunity where you have you are in a position to help the oppressed people, the poor people. So that is the way. Today what we are doing is actually, let's say a person says that you should give fruit of apple to people who are hungry. The other person says, if you want to give fruit of apple, buy a piece of land and plant of the apple, sow the seed or the plantation of apple tree, and then look after it, and then you will be in a position in one day to give apples to the poor. And you say, no, I want to give the apple now. But where you don't have them. And if you do actually steal from someone, or if you give the seeds to them only of apple trees, or the petals, or the branches of the apple tree, it's not going to benefit. So aaj logon ka yahi tasawwur hai, people think Rasulullah worked 13, 15 years, and then the fruit actually he gave to others as well, of helping and the needy and the oppressed. Today when people are said, yes, they want to do the same thing, but they don't want to build a base of their iman, their amal salihah, their own tazkiyah, so that actually the fruits start to bear, and then they can actually distribute and give. So my answer to that, in summary, what I said was that we should look at the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when the people were even in more bad situation than now, what he did. We should do similar thing at the similar level. And the other thing about Quran, you mentioned that some of the verses of Quran, they are saying that you should be harsher with kuffar and other things. Yes, there are these verses, but they relate to different time period and different scenarios. For example, in the state of war, when the war is going on, when the command comes actually that you should be harsh, strike them with your swords, that is the command of the time of war. You can't apply this on the kuffar in the time of peace, for example, or actually even in the time of war, there are so many conditions to follow if you want to combat and things. So those verses are related to different time periods, like Madinian time periods, plus they are also sometime in the state of war when there was the Muslims were and the kuffar came into face to face. They that type of commands. But if you will find those commands to give dawah, to invite them, you will also find in Quran when Hazrat Musa alayhi salam is being sent to Pharaoh to give him dawah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Hazrat Harun and Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, فَقُولَا لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا. Allah Azza wa Jal said, I say to both of you, command both of you to speak gently and with leniency with Pharaoh. لَعَلَّهُ يَتَذَكَّرُ أَوْ يَخْشَى. Maybe then he will learn, or he will become fearful, or will take heed and guidance. तो आम तो देखें अल्लाह इतना बड़ा काफिर है, फिरौन से बड़ा काफिर कौन होगा? उसको भी अल्लाह पाक फरमाए नरमी से बात करना, जाके मूसा अलैहिस्सलाम को, हारून अलैहिस्सलाम को फरमा रहे कि शायद वो समझ जाए, शायद वो डर जाए। तो वो जो that's how many, like you're saying, the media is biased. Media is biased or not, but our own people are biased as well. They don't understand Quran themselves. What to say about media? So maybe kuffar are running it. Maybe they have other agenda. If they are enemy, I don't have any complaint against them. Enemies' job is actually to demonize, and they will do character assassination. But I am saying to us people, the Muslims, that how much they understand these things. Something is of war, and they are applying it in the time of peace, and something is in the time of peace, they are applying it in the time of war. So ये तो यानी mixture. And what was the third one question you had? Okay. How can a person avoid speculation and being cynical of other Muslims? It's very easy. The Quran also have mentioned, until you have not 100% sure, with seen with your own eyes, and without beyond actually any doubt, then you have actually opinion, or you may say then even you should pray, or you can, because now you've seen reality, you can. Until it is a possibility, even 1 or 2% of that, it might be not like that. Then, so the way is to follow, don't follow doubt, follow the conviction. So don't follow the feelings that you are feeling, follow the facts. Cynical, badgumani means that there is no evidence there, but just based on some indication, you judge the person. And to get out of that situation, if you train yourself, or if you adopt this strategy, that you should have a conviction, yaqeen, a fact first, and then you based opinion, not on conjecture and this. And this is taught practically in the level of purification of mind. A person is practically taught. अगर आप ये दूसरा दर्जा देखेंगे purification of the mind का, तो आपको पता चलेगा the person is trained how not to be negative. So you have to learn and practically follow that exercise if a person want to be trained. But but as a simple guidance, I have mentioned that.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is in regards to going to their environment. When you interact with non-Muslims, Christians, is there any boundaries in regards to attending restaurants that serve alcohol, Christmas dinners, and how far can you go?
Right. In relation to, you must say there are two things. One is that there is no need, you are just going on your own accord, and where there is a sinful environment, a person should avoid. But as for purpose of dawah, they say if you are interacting with them because of actually giving them invitation or establishing a social relationship, then the boundary is that you don't participate in sin. And if it is like a religious, like you've gone to a church or anything, you don't participate in any act of worship. And you don't, and if it is like they're serving alcohol and things, you don't participate in any act of sin there. That is the boundary. And in that you keep, so if you're going there for interaction or giving dawah, so then actually like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would many times, he would go to marketplaces in the beginning, in the Meccan period, to invite people. When people had different festivals, like the Arabs and the Meccans had at that time, in those festivals, Prophet ﷺ would go and invite people towards deen. वो बंदा कर सकता है. But a person should be sound himself as well, so that it does not happen that rather than you inviting them, that they had invited you and their color becomes dominant on you. And if a person have these types of feelings, then they should actually retract back completely. मसलन आप गए हैं दावत देने के लिए रेस्टोरेंट में, आप खुद ही आंखों से गलत देख रहे हैं, that you are actually. So then shaitan, rather than you saving others, shaitan has made prey upon you as well. आप भी उसका शिकार होगा, उस दावत का फिर फायदा नहीं होगा. So that is why the tazkiyah, as I said, that the 40 years Prophet ﷺ waited to announce Nabuwa, it is for a reason. Then instruction of dawah was given. Then 3 years again there was a different type of dawah, private type of dawah. Then again the tarbiyah of Sahaba. So there are degrees. But the thing is that you might say that I might not have so much long life. If I go on these patterns, I might die after 1 year, 5 years, and I've not reached. The answer is, many Sahaba, you adopt the right strategy, many Sahaba even were martyred even in the beginning periods of Nabuwa in Makkah. They were successful. They didn't see any dominance of Islam, any victory of Makkah or the migration. They didn't. Hazrat Sumayya, Hazrat Yasir, radiallahu ta'ala, and other people who were martyred there. Look at Sayyidina Hamza radiallahu ta'ala. He didn't see the victory of Makkah. He only saw Badr, and in Uhud he saw actually defeat. Outwardly he saw defeat was happening when he was martyred. But how successful he is, that he has Sayyid al-Shuhada, the leader and the chief of all the shaheeds he has become. But he done. So we are not really responsible for what the change outside, which that it must happen in our lifetime, in our way. All we are that we should have the right strategy, right means, and in those means keep struggling. And if you die on the way, you are successful. If you reach your destination in this world, you're still successful. But what many Jamaats and people in the world have done, they become depressed. Why Muslims are not changing? Why there are people, kuffar oppressing? So they have adopted strategies which do not, Islam does not allow them, like actually killing innocent people, bombing people here and there, and defaming Islam and all these things. This is a sign of that they have become depressed. They become agitated. We can't wait because they want change quickly. And they want to react. So we can't react like kuffar are reacting. We can't react like shaitan are reacting. We can't react like animals are acting. We can't do that. We have to have a fine strategy, and we stay in those limits. And in that, if victory happens, if we achieve our purpose, alhamdulillah, good and well. Even if we don't achieve outwardly, still like Imam Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Outwardly, did he gain khilafah? Did he gain khilafah? No, he didn't gain khilafah outwardly. Was he victorious over Yazid outwardly? No, not in the war, not in the weaponry. But his strategy was right. That he wanted to convey the message of truth. And he wanted to convey the message of truth, that what is right, what is wrong. And he did not actually use any such thing. Similarly, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala also, when he fought with the people of Syria, the army sent by Hazrat Amir Mawiyah radiallahu ta'ala, the Syrian army, because they were away from, it was in Syria, the battle, they confiscated the wells, the springs of water, and didn't even let Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala army take any water from there. That was their act. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala then fought to get the qabza, or to get the possession of those wells. And when he got the possession of he said, even the enemy army, they can use it, and animals can take water from there. So meaning you should have the right strategy, no matter sometime outwardly if you are defeated or seen defeated like Imam Hussain radiallahu ta'ala in the Karbala or in any other matter, you still are successful. Meaning our success is the falah, to reach the pleasure of Allah, which we have said that our Miraj is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. and this is the strategies which we adopt. And then there are other Muslims who became so much disheartened, they say we can't do anything. One group is bombing and doing very extreme actions in that type. The others, they said just mingle with the kuffar and others, and actually we are also amongst them, we should live. We are living in 14th century, 15th century, and they are also in the hands of shaitan, and the others also actually have gone away from the truth. So the right way would be to adopt the strategy which are just given by Islam, and just work your way peaceful. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, He will give you dominance. If He doesn't, then at least still you are successful. So sometimes you have to, like the brother was saying, Muslims, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Sulh Hudaybiyah then did a contract with people of Makkah that if any Muslim runs away from Makkah and comes towards Medina, he will be returned back to the kuffar, and they knew they will be punished and things. And if any kafir comes back to Makkah, he will not be returned. So Prophet ﷺ accepted, although outwardly it seemed that it was not in the favor of Muslims, but he accepted this. And then whilst this contract was not signed, abhi sign nahi hua us par. Abhi, one of the Muslim companion of Rasulullah ﷺ, who was probably Hazrat Abu Jandal or another Sahabi, who became Muslim, and his father and the kuffar of Makkah had chained him and was punishing him. That why you became Muslim. The contract has not been signed yet. Whilst it's very, very delicate situation. Whilst it was happening in between negotiation, Hazrat Abu Jandal Raziyallahu Ta'ala, or another companion, I forgot the name, he came with his chains and things. He somehow escaped the prison of the kuffar and of his father and came there and said, Ya Rasulullah Sallam, help me. And the Muslims were very happy that our one brother has come. But his father was there at the time of the contract. He said, O Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you have said that every Muslim, you have to return to us. It was his son, and he was a Muslim, a companion, and the Muslims knew. Hazrat Umar Radiyallahu Ta'ala said, how can we do that? How can we give him back, that they are going to punish our brother and torture him to death? So Hazrat Umar Radiyallahu Ta'ala, others companions were very angry. They didn't want to return him and said, we had not even signed the contract. But Rasulullah said, I am going to keep my word. I have said so, and I'll do it. And he said to Abu Jandal, be patient. Sabr ikhtiyar karo, aur wapas kar diya aapse. Meaning, some people say the end justifies means. Is tarah nahi hota, Islam mein nahi hai. The means also have to be in the boundary of Sharia only then. Temporarily, sometimes you have to suffer setbacks, but at the end, there will be victory, and if outwardly, if it's not there, in the akhirah it is there. So like the message of Brother Ilyas or Bashar was giving to you, that if it is said to you that you have the potential, you just change your life and start conveying the message up to the years you live. Alhamdulillah, you are going to join the Sahaba and Tabi'een and the Prophets and Anbiya in the end. And if you become one of these two extreme parties, either you take weaponry and you want to change people and use unlawful means to achieve a lawful result, even then actually you have failed. Or actually if you become one of those Muslims who are just passive and just actually going with the flow and following the crowd, then you are unsuccessful as well. The middle way, stand your way in the truth and just actually start conveying and let yourself pass to the next world whilst doing this. Alhamdulillah, you have nothing to be hopeless or despair, nothing. Yeah. वो ब्रदर खड़े थे पीछे, उन्होंने someone was standing before quite Yes, this, the other brother, yes, sir. Did you want to ask question or what? Allahumma salli ala sayyidina
Assalamu alaikum. It's my first time here, and my question is that every month, Ramzan comes every once a year, we have radio stations, like Radio Ramzan, or we used to have radio stations in Bolton. They play a certain type of music with an upbeat to it. Is that allowed to listen to it in certain nights, like remixes and so on? Like the brother asked earlier on, if you go to a restaurant and it's got Christmas decorations in and alcohol and so on. Same with these radio stations. They are attracting the young generation, but obviously with certain advertisements in there and certain ways of going, I'm not fully aware of certain things. I would like your view on this, please, and how we can help the young generation, either if it's viable to listen to it or it's not, and so on. Please, thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
As I said before, that a person should use lawful means to invite people towards deen. Not that I'm attracting people and you adopt actually unlawful means. Then you yourself are going further away from Islam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as you know, the Muslim Ummah, they follow different schools of thoughts. They follow different schools of thoughts, and regarding halal and haram, lawful, unlawful, they have different. So people sitting here, they might be, someone will be following Imam Abu Hanifa, some Imam Shafi'i, some another. But regarding music, I would say that the majority, 99% of all the ulama of 4 schools of thought, they have said, apart from the daf, the drum, that they have not allowed the other type of music. They are only very, very minute people, scholars, who have said that, for example, the other is allowed if it is benefiting people. And from the past scholars, a scholar has passed in Muslim Spain, Imam Ibn Hazm Undalasi. He was one of those, only one, and the one may be others. All others are actually against that. So I try to follow the majority, but if someone has a dalil and opinion and they are a scholar or following, I don't actually go against them, and I don't actually criticize them. They also are following something if they have a dalil. But as I mentioned to you, the reality in the world of knowledge is that the 4 schools of thought, they actually don't allow anything except actually drum and things. But today, things are used in different ways. So that is the view on that. And if you say we are helping young people to attract towards religion through music, then I would say all mandars and churches will be filled with young people. Because unke deen mein to music, the music is part of their religion, not only lawful but very praiseworthy. Hindu और चर्च, इन दोनों मजहबों में म्यूजिक जो है ये इबादत समझा जाता है. तो आप देख ले, अगर म्यूजिक से यंग ने अट्रैक्ट होना है तो मंदिर कितने फुल हैं. जाएं किसी मंदिर में, कितने लोग नजर आएंगे आपको. चर्चों में जाएं, वो अकेला ही पादरी बेचारा किंग लेके बैठा हुआ है और सारे आपने कहा वो अपना 2-4 बंदे बैठे, बूढ़े, यंग कहाँ हैं. उन्होंने तो सारे तरीके ये अडॉप्ट कर लिए. So still the mosques, we don't use music, and things still you'll see youngsters are still there. So and this is one thing. And second is, some people, to justify their actions, they wrongly put allegations on great awliya like Khaja Mainuddin Chishti rahmatullah alayhi, that the Chishtiya people, they used to use music. No, they never did. The great of one of his Grand Khulafa Hazrat Nizamuddin Awliya mentioned in his book 700 years ago. He said, people are falsely accusing my Mashayikh, Hazrat Friduddin Ganshakar and Hazrat Moinuddin Chishti, that they used Qawwali with music like today it is used to attract people. He said this is falsehood. And lately, Imam Ahmad Raza Barelvi, Rahmatullah Alayhi, Indian scholar of Indian subcontinent, which Muslims follow, he in his Fatawa Rizviya also has very fiercely and very strongly condemned that these people, one, they are doing wrong things. Second, they attribute it to awliya, and awliya are those who follow the Prophet ﷺ. Show us any majlis of the Prophet ﷺ where actually this type of music and this type of things actually are used. But as I say, this is one view of majority that they do follow. So, but if any scholar have their dalil and things, they are responsible in the court of Allah, that they will answer, and they might actually get reward for that if they are truthful in there. So we don't condemn them outrightly, but we also should know the view or the fatwa of the 99% scholars, what they are in opinion of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. As I say, there is one or two in every century they've gone in there, but 99% are against that. Plus, I don't see any more benefit that those who are in favor of that they have attracted a lot of youngsters, and or actually people have become very, very pious and righteous. The two Jamaats in the world, they have a following with them, great following with them. One is Tablighi Jamaat, one is Dawat-e-Islami. Tablighi Jamaat is the Deobandi orientated Jamaat. The Dawat-e-Islami is Barelvi orientated Jamaat. Maulana Ilyas Qadri Muddazilul Ali. Both of them, they have the million followers in millions. And both of them don't use music at all. Tablighi Jamaat ne bhi nahi kiya music kabhi istemal. Or Dawat-e-Islami, you see their channel, Madani channel, wahan aapko music ka naam hi nahi nazar aayega. उनसे और सख्ती की हुई है, भी औरतों को फ़ोन करना भी उन्होंने मना किया हुआ है. कोई औरत आके वहाँ नात नहीं पढ़ सकती, बयान नहीं कर सकती. तो इतना स्ट्रिक्ट है, बट दे हैव द लार्ज फॉलोइंग देन ऑल अदर जमात. दूसरी सारी जमातों से उनकी फॉलोअर ज़्यादा हैं इन दी फील्ड ऑफ दावा. आप देख ले, दुनिया में चल रहे हैं. पाकिस्तान में इज्तिमा देख ले, वो भी इज्तिमा करते हैं, 25-25 लाख का, 20-20 लाख का इज्तिमा है. दूसरे बड़ा तीर मारे, हमने सियासतदान कहते हैं हमने 50,000 बंदा इकट्ठा कर लिया, हमने 2 लाख बंदा इकट्ठा कर लिया. इनका इज्तिमा लाखों पर, मिलियनों पर मुश्तमिल हो, दोनों जमातों का. वो ना वो म्यूज़िक इस्तेमाल करते हैं, ना वो क्यों. सो आई इवन विटनेसिंग मुशाहिदा ऑल्सो रिजेक्ट्स दिस आइडिया दैट म्यूज़िक. वो जो कर रहे हैं, मेरा ख्याल है 10 बंदे 20 बैठे होंगे किसी खानकाह में और कुछ कवाली कर रहे हैं, दूसरे कुछ, कोई बंदा उनकी तरफ जो है ख़ास जो है वो नहीं. सो बाय दलाइल आई हैव मेंशन्ड टू यू अ मिडल वे, कि भाई उन जो उलमा कर रहे हैं, उलमा कहते जायज़ है हमारे नज़दीक, उनको बुरा भला मत कहें. दे आर स्कॉलर्स, लीव देम टू देमसेल्व्स, दे आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल. हुएवर फॉलोज देम, लीव देम टू देमसेल्व्स. लेकिन आप मेजॉरिटी को देखें कि वो भी क्या कर रहे हैं, जो आपको फिर अच्छा लगता है उसके पीछे चले. एंड देन ऑल्सो सी द रिजल्ट क्या हो रहा है, कि जो दैट जमात हु अलाउज फ्री इंटरेक्शन विद intersexes and also music, have they produced more good Muslims, or those jamaats which have actually have limited themselves and are stricter, have they produced more good Muslim men and women? तो आपको खुद ही पता चल जाएगा. ठीक है.
You gave some strategies and techniques on how to invite people and call others to success, those who are heedless and those not interested in the deen. We found there's certain groups of people who they agree with what you have to say and the information about life after death and the punishment of death and the barzakh and so on, but still there's no change in them. You don't see them changing or getting up and changing their lifestyle, starting to do namaz and so on, even after agreeing and even after understanding what you have to say. Is there any guidance or any techniques to help them, inshallah?
You are saying that there are people who you have conveyed the message, then they still not seem changing and things. You have to look at the prophets and Anbiya alayhim salam. They were the best people who gave dawah. Did everyone change in their life? But the majority, they rejected them of their times. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he alayhi salatu wasalam was in, Sahaba were 124,000 and the world population was in millions at that time even. How many people accepted, how many people rejected? Now even the kuffar are actually more in number. So we cannot give dawah more better than Anbiya alayhim salam and all these people. So even the prophets and messengers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَإِنَّمَا عَلَيْكَ الْبَلَاغُ. Upon you is just conveying, message pucha do. وَعَلَيْنَا الْحِسَابِ. And it's upon us actually to then take accountability, हिसाब लेना कि उन्होंने अमल किया या नहीं किया. तो हमें कोशिश करते रहें, we shouldn't stop that but some people, even some families, Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam's wife didn't accept him as a prophet. Imagine, 70 साल नहीं, 500 साल वो साथ रही उनके or more. But she didn't accept, let aside believing or doing good, she didn't accept him as a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although she was living with him, eating with him all the time there. One of his sons didn't accept his message. तो ये होता है बाज़ दफ़ा तो भी. But that shouldn't change our stance that we stop conveying, because our view is like giving dawah like muazzin, like a person who gives azan. He gives dawah for namaz, invitation, doesn't he? Every mosque muazzin, he gives dawah, invitation for azan. If less people come, or if some people are not coming after even listening, does he stop giving azan? No. तो कोई भी ना आए, उसने तो अजान अपनी देनी है. तो हमारा काम है, मुअज्जिन हम है दावत देने वाले, मुअज्जिन से सबक सीखें कि कोई आ गया ठीक है, ना आया अल्लाह उसको पूछेगा, ये तो रिस्पांसिबिलिटी दे दी. But if he doesn't give the azan, he will be questioned as well. Why didn't you call people towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? तो आपकी responsibility, you have to draw a line that your responsibility is to convey, not force or thrust on people the deen or the message. Yes, you should use wisdom, you should use hikmah, different strategy, you want goodness. But people will react differently, like they reacted differently with Prophet ﷺ. Some try to, na'uzubillah, martyr him. Some try to actually, false allegations they put upon him. They said he's a magician, na'uzubillah. Some said actually he is not telling the truth, na'uzubillah. Some said he is possessed by jinnat, na'uzubillah. And all other people come with different things. And some people, they gave life for him. They would give anything for him, and they stayed with him, and it was the greatest blessing for them. So now people will react differently as well. But that shouldn't change that you become despaired. Oh, I've been doing this for 10 years, and this person is not still listening. Your job was not actually to make him practice your message, but to convey them the message in different ways and forms. वरना तो दाई तो पागल होके मर जाए, क्योंकि बंदे सुनते ही नहीं है, कोई गाली दे रहा है, कोई मजाक कर रहा है, वो तो डिप्रेस हो जाए बहुत. That's why people become some depressed, people are not listening, etc. उसकी जाब अल्लाह पाक ने आसान मुअज्जिन से सबक सीखे. अजान दे दें आप और उसके बाद छोड़ दे बंदों पर. जो आए नमाज में बहुत अच्छी बात है, जो ना आए अल्लाह उसका हिसाब लेगा उससे. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Just going back to the method that you gave us, Shaykh Saab, once you made that connection with the individuals and you're talking to them about the greatness of Allah and the covenant, etc., you mentioned that we can also talk to them about the virtues of Salah. Should we also talk to them about the punishments as well, and like the adab and things like that?
As I mentioned, as I showed you in that picture, that there is mention of both sides, meaning the good side, the hell side, the paradise side. But try to tell people the good side first. Firstly, is Basharat, Bashir, talk about Jannah. Some people will come towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when they will listen to Jannah. Some people will come when they listen to hell. This is carrot and stick approach. People have different natures, and both should be balanced, should be there. Bashiran wa Nazira, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, these qualities of the prophets were that they were giving of glad tidings and also warners of actually the consequences if they don't follow. The both. But the good side, meaning the paradise, the fazail, should be dominant. Because when you sometimes mention the punishment, that you will be punished this, and the person thinks, I'm already condemned person, so it's no use me changing. They come to draw wrong conclusions sometimes. But if you mention virtues, they think, yes, I can get something extra. And with that, then actually a person. So firstly start with this thing and sometime mention the other as well.
And I also said that inshallah, quite a lot of brothers here. So limit your questions to 3 only. If you've asked you 3 questions, it'll give others a chance as well.
So after developing a sound relationship with the person, how will one know that is appropriate time to give dawah? How will one know that this is the appropriate time to give dawah? How you will know is, it's like the relationship is like you're building thirst in a person. How will you know that the person is thirsty? When he says, give me water. So meaning, when he says that, how can I save myself, brother, the hell you mentioned, how can I save myself from there? How can I save myself from all this evil? How can I go to Jannah? Or he says, I want to be a friend of Allah, I don't want to be a friend. Is there a way? So when this response type comes from him, that is the time that you give the water, when he shows the thirst. Yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم شيخ.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
My concern is, I know we have a lot of sects in Islam, but the one sect where the followers are of Imam Abu Hanifa, and we have the Tablighi Jamaat, Jamaat Islamiyah and Brahmanism and all the rest of it. How do we go about trying to stop the infighting where there's a constant battle, especially I feel from the pulpits of the masjids, where simple, ordinary people are not being focused to get together, rather than they are being made to split. And I feel that this is one big area where we Muslims are doing more harm and damage against ourselves than I feel what maybe a non-Muslim is doing out there. Jazakallah.
Right, regarding that, firstly, you should know that you don't have control over all these people who are sitting in the pulpit. The person who sits on the pulpit, he has the control over the mic, or he has opened a TV channel. He is going to speak whatever he wishes, and we don't have. So what you are saying, what we can do is, if people are spreading chaos and things, you don't become one of those people. Firstly, meaning you have control over yourself firstly, actually. And the way to do is, as I said, that you bring people towards the unanimous teachings of Anbiya and Awliya and Sulaha, which are in that Tariqa Muhammadiyya. For example, as you have seen first, the Tariq starts with for example, we say these things, no one normally disagrees with these things. Our purpose is the pleasure of Allah, no one disagrees with this. We should have humbleness and sincerity, no one. We should give preference to the commands of Allah, to the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, love and sunnah, compassion upon creation, be in the presence of Allah, no room for disagreement. We should not sin with the 7 organs, with the mind, bad thoughts. We should have jealousy, etc. And we should have enlightened inner selves. No one is. We should have correct beliefs, fiqh, whichever we are following, striving. Meaning, bringing yourself and people towards these main unanimous things. And being yourself the part of the solution, meaning wherever there is something like this, you don't participate in there. And secondly, it will be appropriate that if you have leverage over something, let's say you are a committee member of a mosque, or you build a mosque, or you build a zawiya, you are there. There you can say, I don't want these things. I want the positive preaching of Islam and the Sunnah, and I don't want these different. Because these other people, they understand they are not doing the right thing, but it is just that their task which they have taken to disintegrate, and that's where their, you may say, income and things actually come in spite of. And you've seen this infighting. It's not between Hanafis or anything like this. Even each sect, like if there is a, for example, Brelvi sect, or inside them there are groups, they're fighting between each other. They are putting allegations. So one says, what is this? If it was a difference of opinion between Wahhabi and Sunni, it is understandable. But why are these Sunnis fighting between themselves? Why are these Wahhabis fighting in between? So this shows there is a mentality, and these people will exist. All you can do is you don't become part and parcel of them. And secondly, if you have leverage, control over anywhere, any channel, any mosque, any place, you pay your part. That's you are responsible for. Yeah.
Can I remind all the brothers, please, can you just limit your questions to the topic which is mentioned today? Like I said earlier, if you have any fiqh-related masails and so on, there are other brothers here, inshallah, can also able to answer the questions, or the Maulanas in the masjid, inshallah. Just limit to the question, the topic they've been asked.
Because you have to do halqa, faqida and fiqh bhi aapne karna hai, so 5-10 minute break karke phir wo kar le. And inshallah try to understand this, what has been said. There will be a recap, and also I'll ask some questions as well maybe tomorrow, so that actually you understand. And like Brother Ilyas and Shalam, you see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam loves his ummah. He wants his ummah to be, all ummah go in paradise. And if you become a tool of that, or part of that, you will also become close to the Prophet ﷺ, and you have that potential. So firstly, I again summarize to you that I mentioned to you that the disease of heedlessness, people sleeping in ghafla, yourself and others, don't mention any do's and don'ts. First, just interact with them, and then even mention just actually the things which I have mentioned about hell and paradise, reality of dunya, and these things, and behave with them, respect another. No matter they are sinful, but invite them towards deen, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned to Musa alayhi salam. You will find then there will be more positive and good results rather than, so that like our brother, respectable, honorable brother was saying, people have machine guns of fatwas, but still people are not changing. They've not taken any heed. When the fatwa ye bhi kafir hai, wo mushrik ho gaya, filan ho gaya, isse to koi fark. प्यार मोहब्बत से और समझने समझाने से लोग बात सुन लेते हैं, तो करीब आ जाते हैं. तो ये बात ठीक है जी. जज़ाकल्लाह सुब्हानकल्लाहुम्मा व बिहम्दिक नशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्ला अंता नस्तगफिरुक व नतूबु इलैक.